You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra buck, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
A new year means it's time for a new home network that can keep up. With Cox Internet, you have the speed and coverage your family needs to stay connected. You'll enjoy Cox's fiber-based hybrid network with options for fast upload and download speeds. And if your household has lots of connected devices, Panoramic Wi-Fi may be the perfect fit thanks to its additional control features. Plus, with advanced security on Panoramic Wi-Fi, you'll know each connected device is securely protected 24/7. A whole world of connectivity is yours with Cox Internet. Learn more at Cox.com.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program will contain coarse language, adult themes, and a cranky old man telling everybody why he's a cranky old man. But we don't call him the conservative curmudgeon for nothing. Listener discretion is advised.
It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. Now, here's Grouchy.
Good evening, everybody. Woo! I'm hard on mine. Okay. Rick?
Si, senor.
You're going to have to turn something off over there because I'm hearing myself on delay.
I got nothing on over here, bro.
Well, screw that then. My stupid internet. That doesn't surprise... Oh, it's gone now. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing I keep trying to tell the Red Wine crew. When we have audio that we're piping in, you have to give it about 20 seconds or so because it causes a feedback loop.
Yeah, okay. Well, speaking of them, they will be up at the top of the next hour. This is my hour. The next hour is theirs. I hope that you were listening to Rick last hour. And then I hope you stay after Red Wine for a Rick and Orty.
As far as I know, we're on for that. I have not heard anything to the contrary, so.
Apparently, Horty working full-time is cutting into his whoring on the radio station.
I know, and I'm getting kind of mad. My profits are down. He needs to get his old Amish ass back to the corner.
There is your programming reminder for tonight. It is a full slate at KLRN Radio, America's podcast network. You are going to want to stay here. We're going to have fun. You're going to learn something. TV sucks unless you're a hockey fan because it's hockey season again. I'm excited. I don't know about anybody else. I couldn't give a crap less about the NBA. I am a hockey fan, though. So between hockey and football and baseball playoffs, college football, it is that time of year right now. It doesn't last very long, so I understand if you're into it. And speaking of into it, how about the pro-Palestinian invasion of the House today, Capitol Hill? I keep waiting to hear about all the people being arrested and charged with insurrection and being held limitlessly without bail and so on and so forth and so forth. If anybody has any records of that happening, feel free to let me know. Yeah. Fucking chance.
So far, they've all been charged or will be being charged with unlawful protest, and 3 have been arrested for assaulting peace officers. But it ain't anything like J6th.
Yeah, no. I was gonna, my tweet was, do you remember the 1018 inquiry? Yeah, no, because there won't be one. There won't, even though this is completely driven by Rashida Tlaib. You can't convince me otherwise. She may not be the one with the bullhorn. She may be. She thinks she's that untouchable, and she's that bold that she might be out there with them. But I'm telling you right now, her position is incongruent with that of a seating congressperson. End of story. End of story. She is supporting terrorism. And that is incongruent with being a United States congressman or congresswoman. And I don't care what party you are. It's a freaking madhouse. And we got a handful of reporters out there whining about, oh, you can't take these jobs away from these college students. That's cancel culture. It's not cancel culture. It's been pissing me off since I saw him say it. It's not like there's tens of thousands of people on social media calling these companies saying, don't hire these college kids. No, that's not happening. What's happening is the companies are stepping up and saying, oh, you're not the kind of person that we want here. Guess what? That's not cancel culture. Very different. So these whiny ass reporters, I don't even know who they are because they're so insignificant, but they piss me off. I'm going to find out who they are. I've already let one have it. He wouldn't reply to me because he knows I'm right. But, yeah, it's ridiculous. So, look, last Wednesday, House Republicans nominated Steve Scalise to be the next Speaker of the House. That didn't pan out. Do I have the right show? It'd probably help if I opened the right notes. So anyway, I'm right. That didn't pan out. I'm still right. Jim Jordan has now missed on the second vote, and the margin grew. It did not shrink. So, we're at this point now where it's going to be a damn chore, thanks to Matt Gaetz and the Gaetz 8 and the Democrats. Now, the Democrats, if you listen to Hakeem Jeffries on the news, he's running around talking about how this is a Republican problem and they really need to get their act together and get a speaker elected and yada, yada, yada. There would not be a problem had the Democrats not colluded with Matt Gaetz. They could have simply looked at Gaetz and went, we'll vote present. And that would have been over. This vacancy could not have happened without the Democrats. So for all their whining about, we need a speaker, it should be Hakeem. Hakeem Jeffries can go rot in hell. I have no doubt that there will come a time when that little communist will be the Speaker of the House, and that will be one of the saddest days of my life. But right now, he can shut the fuck up because this is as much his fault as it is Gaetz. Gaetz deserves some more chastising, though, because he went into this trying to make a point. Point made. Now look what he's created. There was no plan. The only plan was to oust McCarthy. There was no plan for anything else. Who was going to be next? How it was going to happen? It boggles the mind that these frickin' neophytes get up into Congress and think they know everything about everything and will piss in their own Cheerios to spite themselves. I hope, like hell, there's a conservative in Gaetz' district that will primary him. He's not as loved as he thinks he is down here. Trust me. I live right next to his district. I travel into his district weekly. I deal with people from that district every day. He's not as well liked as he would like to think he is. All right, that's enough about the assholes. So the big thing the last couple of days, especially, was the hospital that was allegedly bombed in Gaza. First and foremost, I don't understand how there can be video of patients being rushed into this hospital that was just bombed. Why would you take people into a hospital that was just bombed? Makes no sense. Second of all, if the hospital was indeed bombed and part of it was still functional, we now have videotape confirming that the missile that hit the hospital was a misfire from Hamas. The video is irrefutable. It's time-stamped. You can see the trail on the missile, and you can see exactly where it hits. Womp, womp. So Hamas did it to themselves, intentional or not. Of course, we have politicians that won't acknowledge that, or they will refute it outright, even though that there's video evidence. The footage clearly shows multiple rockets launched towards Israel. Moments later, a blast is seen in Gaza, midway along the rocket's trajectory, and it's right where the hospital is. Ta-da! It doesn't take a genius to figure out what happened. Israel said that when they fired rockets, they didn't even fire in that direction, and the missile trails prove that. The video was taken by local channel Keshet 12 News. It's right there. It's on camera. The rockets fired over the hospital. You can see the blast. It came from the Gaza Strip. End of story. Did it kill 500 people? I don't know. You would think that if it killed 500 people, there wouldn't be much hospital to carry people into. But yet we still have video of people carrying others into the hospital that was bombed. I don't get it. I don't. As much as I hate to say it, I have to give credit where it's due. Our president so far has said and done the right things, with the exception of the one tweet I saw earlier. I'm sure there's been others that I've missed, but I did see where he said that Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people and not all Palestinians are Hamas. Well, sir, that is incorrect, because the Palestinian people elected Hamas to be in charge of their make-believe country of Palestine, which its origins stand for invader. So the origin of the word Palestine, yeah, invader. We know that's not their land. Israel knows it's not their land. The rest of the world knows that it's not their land. So why the hate on Israel? Why the hate on the Jews? I wish I knew. I really do. Biden says that he was outraged by the bombing of the hospital yesterday. Based on what I've seen, it was done by the other team. Not you, Biden said to Netanyahu in a meeting earlier today. But there's a lot of people out there who are not sure. Why would he say that? Why would he say that? If you're not sure after watching the video, you're an idiot or a liar. And that I've spoken to a lot of people, and I come to the same conclusion. The reason that they are still so blindly supporting Hamas is because their narcissism won't allow them to admit they are wrong. It's as simple as that. It's a mental disorder. They can't do it. Because if they're wrong about this, that means they're wrong about other things, because it's a big domino effect. How it goes back to policies, and this policy, and then to this policy, and then to this policy. And then they look at themselves and they go, holy shit, I've been preaching and living on lies. Yeah, you have. Now, Biden reiterated his belief that Israel was not to blame. Later, after that meeting, National Security Council spokeswoman Adrienne Watson also reaffirmed the U.S. position. She said, while we continue to collect information, our current assessment based on analysis of overhead imagery, intercepts, and open source information is that Israel is not responsible for the explosion at the hospital in Gaza. Now, if we have overhead imagery too, it baffles the mind how anybody could still say Israel did it. And Biden met with Israeli officials throughout Wednesday, pledging further support for the country and warning Iran and Hezbollah not to intervene. Okay. Yeah, don't fuck with the money machine. I won't give you more money if you intervene. I don't know. Such a jackass. Such a jackass. Anyway, speaking of the jackass, we bounce back home from Israel. There is a coalition of stakeholders led by Cape May County, New Jersey, filed a federal lawsuit against the Biden administration Tuesday, challenging the development of a massive offshore wind farm along the county's coastline. The lawsuit, which names the Interior Department and Interior Secretary Deb Haaland, among other federal officials and agencies as defendants, that includes Pudd'nhead Joe, argues that the federal government abandoned its obligations to protect the environment in favor of an inappropriate collusion with big wind interests. Big wind is what they used to call me when I would leave the Mexican restaurant, by the way. It's just the plain, simple truth of the matter. Chorizo does it to me every time. Plaintiffs specifically challenged the approval of Ocean Wind 1, an offshore wind project being developed by Danish energy company Ørsted. I wonder if our Ordnance Packard knows anything about them. As we've said many times, we spent the better part of 2 years trying to negotiate with Ørsted to redesign this project in a way that would cause less damage to the environment and less damage to our tourism and fisheries interest, said Cape May County Board of Commissioners Director Len Desidrio. Yes, Desidrio. A little awkward to say, but okay. Our reasonable proposals fell on deaf ears as state and federal regulators rubber stamp permits to rush the Ocean Wind 1 project to approval. We believe the federal permitting process was fatally flawed, and we have assembled a great legal team to pursue these issues in the federal courts, Desidrio continued. There is far too much at stake to do nothing. This suit brings together important stakeholders in Cape May County willing to fight to protect our economy, our environment, and our future. And not only is this just Cape May in Jersey, this goes all the way up the East Coast to Maine. This is a huge undertaking. In addition to the county, plaintiffs include the Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Wildwood Hotel Motel Association, Clean Ocean Action, and the Garden State Seafood Association and local seafood businesses. The the people in other states will file their own lawsuits accordingly. So, yeah, this is going to be big. This is going to be big. According to the lawsuit, the federal government is approving offshore wind projects like Ocean Wind 1 too quickly without properly considering the economic and environmental harm they may pose. The plaintiffs request in their suit that the court put a hold on Ørsted's permits and force relevant agencies to fix the flawed processes that were utilized to ignore important environmental, marine species, economic, and historic resource protections. Two things have been conclusively established so far, added Mike Donahue, Cape May County's special counsel for offshore wind. Wow, they have a special counsel for offshore wind. Okay. First, these are nonpartisan issues with leading voices on both sides of the aisle in New Jersey and throughout the country now voicing the same concerns about the negative impacts of offshore wind projects that Cape May County has been raising for the past 2 years. Second, constructing this project and all of the other proposed offshore wind projects, according to the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, will have no positive impact on climate change or reducing global warming. Wow. So what is going on here then? 10% for the big guy, maybe?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, I mean, what the hell? No one would expect the Danish. The Ocean Wind 1 project was first proposed years ago after the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management awarded wind energy development leases in 2015 during the Obama administration. We know what a scam green energy was during that time. In March 2021, the agency initiated the permitting process for the project, leading to formal approval in July. That is very fast, March to July. It then approved Ørsted's construction and operations plan last month. Wow. Ørsted's Ocean Wind 1 and Ocean Wind 2 projects together would consist of nearly 200 wind turbines across 161,000 acres in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Cape May County. According to the county, the turbines would be as close as 9 miles from its coastline and would be visible from every beach in its jurisdiction. The project would also have 2 transmission line corridors with 1 substation in Cape May County. Ocean Wind 1 is expected to enter operations by 2025, while Ocean Wind 2 would be operational years later. Doesn't stipulate how many. The county previously said it has engaged with Ørsted since 2021, but those negotiations fell through after the company turned to state and federal officials who were supportive of the development. Well, of course they are. Money, money, money. The county has also argued the wind project would have little to no positive impact on climate change, lead to a 15% decline in tourism, which translates to $1 billion loss for the local economy, and it would harm marine wildlife, as well as the fisheries industry. In May, the Cape May County Board of Commissioners passed a resolution in a unanimous vote to oppose the wind project. We are aware Cape May County has issued a resolution, Tom Southard, Ørsted's New Jersey Stakeholder Relations Manager, said. The content of the resolution doesn't change our willingness or desire to collaborate with the local elected officials and stakeholders throughout the state. Well, somebody's lying here somewhere, aren't they? If they're willing to collaborate, it seems to me that there wouldn't be a lawsuit. I don't know. Just me thinking out loud. Building upon discussions from the beginning stages of Ocean Wind 1's development, Ørsted will continue outreach with communities and community leaders. We are committed to delivering a project that advances New Jersey's renewable energy goals while creating jobs and economic opportunities that further the state's leadership position of offshore wind development. Cape May County is New Jersey's southernmost county, consists of 16 separate jurisdictions, and has a population of about 95,000 residents. Oh, that's really small. The Department of Interior would not immediately respond for comments. Yeah, no kidding, right? Okay, so, a big to-do up there. I think this is going to turn out to be a huge lawsuit. I definitely think that an injunction will be issued. They're going to halt this thing until they settle it. There's no need to push forward and then have to reverse course. So, yeah, there will be an injunction issued, and this thing is going to go to court and be fought, and it may go all the way to the Supreme Court. Who knows? So anyway, that will have Biden bound up with his environmental base. His squad base is deserting him. They think he's a traitor, and because he likes Israel and he doesn't like the Palestinians. So Biden's got his hands full right now. What can I tell you? President Silver Alert. He looked like he was going to fall over this afternoon when he was trying to make his statement about Israel. He's just not in good health. He can't be. There's no freaking way that dude is fit for office. But he's what we got, and we definitely don't want his second in command. All right, well, here's what we're going to do. We're just past the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a break. We're going to get our drinks. We're going to stretch our legs. We're going to be back here in about 4 minutes after Rick pushes the button, and we're going to finish out the show. How does that sound? Good. Glad you like it.
Jumping through some hoops, wanna get my body loose, wanna tell you what to do. I've been running out of bounds like an animal struggling, looking for a diamond. I'm trying, I'm fighting, riding in the rhythm now. I just wanna stay up all night, wanna stay up all night, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just wanna stay up all night with you. Just wanna stay up all night with you.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, Pop-Up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra buck, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
A new year means it's time for a new home network that can keep up. With Cox Internet, you have the speed and coverage your family needs to stay connected. You'll enjoy Cox's fiber-based hybrid network with options for fast upload and download speeds. And if your household has lots of connected devices, Panoramic Wi-Fi may be the perfect fit thanks to its additional control features. Plus, with advanced security on Panoramic Wi-Fi, you'll know each connected device is securely protected 24/7. A whole world of connectivity is yours with Cox Internet. Learn more at Cox.com.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
All right. Well, sorry about that. I think our timing got a little off there.
They couldn't hear you yet, bro. They have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway. Top of the hour. Stay tuned for the red wine. Rick and Orty after that, allegedly, supposedly.
He has confirmed.
Possibly. And, right now we're gonna push this thing in for the next 17, 18 minutes, something like that. I think. I don't know. I hope we got that much material left. Anyway, I honestly do not know what the coverage of this story was nationally. I would think it got some national coverage, and Rick can help me out with this because he's a good ways away, and he would know in his area if it got covered. But the murder of Natalie Holloway in Aruba.
Yeah.
Ring a bell?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So, we found out today, or was it yesterday? Was it today or yesterday? Anyway, we found out this week that the man that is in jail in Peru on a separate murder charge confessed to the slaying of Natalie Holloway. Joran Vandersloot has said that he did it. The judge accepted his guilty plea in an extortion case targeting her family. According to a transcript of his confession, Vandersloot shared a grisly account of the teen's final moments. He admitted that he crushed her head with a cinder block and dragged her to the ocean when she refused his sexual advances on a beach in Aruba. Dude, that's hard up. That is that is gross, and it is exactly what people thought pretty much had happened, is that he killed her and dragged her into the ocean. He recounted the incident in an interview. He revealed that he grew angry with her resistance and grabbed the block and said that this is him talking, quote, "I smash her head in with it completely." He's still talking here. I'm quoting him. "Her face basically, collapses in. Even though it is dark, I can see her face is collapsed in." After that, he said he dragged her into the water until he was about knee deep and then pushed her off into the sea, and then he walked home. This prick deserves so much more than he's ever going to get from this. He apologized to her family in court, meaningless, and agreed to assist law enforcement and her relatives about the disappearance and submit to what was described by Holloway's mother as probably the most intense and in-depth polygraph test that law enforcement could possibly give somebody. Holloway was 18 when she went missing during a senior trip to Aruba in 2005 with high school classmates from Mountain Brook, which is a suburb of Birmingham, Alabama, and was last seen exiting a bar with Vandersloot, who told the court, "I am no longer the person that I was." Judge Anna Manasco said, "You have brutally murdered in separate incidents, years apart, 2 young women who refused your sexual advances." And she was referencing the murder that he is serving time in Peru for. Manasco called the extortion and fraud charges heinous because the killer knew the information he was selling was a lie and was doing it just to make a profit, even though his family is worth millions. However, as part of the deal, she said federal prosecutors have agreed not to use his confession against him for any other purposes. After 18 years, Natalie's case has been solved, her mother said. Joran Vandersloot is the killer we always thought he was. In a powerful victim impact statement minutes later, Holloway's mother tore into Vandersloot, saying he taunted her family and caused indescribable pain before turning to him and saying, "You look like hell." And he does look like hell. To be a 36-year-old, the picture of him, he looks like hell. He is a 36-year-old Dutch national who was charged with extortion and wire fraud in the U.S. after he attempted to sell the mother information about her daughter's body in 2010. Beth Holloway, who teared up at times, said she lost her job, her teaching license, and tenure while searching for answers about her daughter's disappearance. And she said, "I implore this court to give you the maximum sentence possible and make financial restitution." Now, Vandersloot was sentenced to 20 years in prison with credit for time already served in the U.S. after he arrived in June. This is the part I vehemently disagree with, is that the court is going to allow his sentence to run concurrently with the ones he faces in Peru. His new expected release date is June 9th of 2043, which is just 20 more years away. He'll only be 56 years old, which is my age, and perfectly capable physically of repeating his behavior. And at that age, his parents will either be so old they can't stop him, or they will have passed and he will have inherited their millions of dollars and have that behind him to help him. A concurrent sentence does never sit good with me. It really doesn't. It's like not being punished. You're already serving that time. There was an arrangement made, though, that should anything happen in Peru where he is released early, he would be sent back to the United States to finish that time. So there is that. Whatever. But, Joran Vandersloot. Murderer. Extortionist.
Well, with a name like that, he had to be nuts. He was made fun of his whole life, dude.
I mean, look, he's Dutch. I mean, that's not the worst name you're going to see on Dutch people. I mean, I get it. It sounds very strange to us, but that's not a very weird name for the Dutch. And this dude, I mean, if you see the picture of him, his jawbone looks like something that you could slay Philistines with. I mean, literally the jawbone of an ass. It is huge. I'm thinking the movie Tango and Cash, when the guy was talking about he broke my jaw. That dude's got a jaw like Vandersloot. Anyway, that case, I'm telling you, that story stayed in the news here, obviously more so than other places, being that she was from 4 hours up the road from where I'm at. It just, it permeated the news cycle here for years. And I'm glad the family got some closure. I think they had already come to terms with the fact that she was dead. And I think that makes it, I don't want to sound like it makes it easier, but knowing that the person that did it is going to face something for it has got to help them somehow, some way. They will never have their daughter back. Nothing can change that. But if I were a person of means and my daughter had been murdered that way and I knew who did it, I would ensure that he never left the prison in Peru. And I'll just leave that right there. Anyway, okay, so.
Does Israel really need another distraction? Times today, did you read that?
What?
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, Laura Ingraham was in my ears. I was like, I didn't unmute that. What the hell? Anyway.
Get off my airtime!
It sounded kind of Mark Levinish, bro. Kind of good. Just saying.
Oh. So, look, we got this state out there in the West. You might have heard of it. It's called California. They like to talk about how successful they are and how great things are in California and how Newsom is the man. And there's been talk of him possibly becoming part of Biden's administration even. And here the report gets released that poverty has increased dramatically in California just since last year. A surge in the new studies attribute the expiration of pandemic-era federal relief programs. That shit was over, 2 years ago? This is dealing with year over year. So wipe that crap out. The spike has been particularly steep among Black and Latino Californians and children across all ethnicities. Researchers found that 16.4% of Californians were living in poverty, up from 11% the year before, a 5.5% increase in poverty-stricken people. That's huge. In a state of 38 million people, that's huge. The rate of child poverty more than doubled last year. And again, they're saying it's the end of the pandemic era investments in child tax credit and federal policies. I thought California was in such great shape. Why aren't they stepping up and putting their money towards this? Why are they using my money? Why are they using federal dollars? Where's the state? Newsom talks about how great things are in California. Well, put your money where your mouth is, Bubba. Nationally, the Federal Census Bureau reached similar conclusions, and the Columbia University Center on Poverty and Social Policy estimated a 41% increase in the monthly child poverty rate nationally in early 2022. Also fueling the rise is the economy. Prices grew last year at their steepest rates in more than 40 years. A gallon of regular gasoline topped $6 a gallon and continues to be the highest average price in the country. That's Bidenomics. It's not a leap of logic to understand that when we have those kinds of inflationary pressures, and then you have an increase in poverty, which is a reduction of resources for families, that those two things don't add up to a good ending. Yeah, I'm glad he didn't say happy ending. Anyway, Angela Ricciuti, senior fellow at Washington's American Enterprise Institute, said the data tend to rely partly on what people tell the government, and they can be underreporting benefits or not disclosing income. And while technically true, the poverty data misses the context, and when we look at other measures of well-being, we don't see the same fluctuations, she said. Poverty tends to go up and down depending on the strength of the overall economy. Rates dropped steadily from the end of the Great Recession in 2009 through the beginning of the COVID pandemic in 2020. Alyssa Anderson, a Budget Center Senior Policy Fellow and co-author of the study, vigorously disputed the skeptics. Her report, produced with 3 other Budget Center scholars, is based on the widely used Census Bureau Supplemental Poverty Measure. The nonpartisan Congressional Research Service defined that source as, quote, a measure of economic deprivation having insufficient financial resources to achieve a specified standard of living. That data, Anderson said, are more accurate measure of poverty for several reasons, including that it does take into account the impact of public programs such as housing assistance, help with utility bills, school meals, home food purchases, and more. The Budget Center study found that in California, the increase in poverty as measured by the census supplemental rate hit Black and Latino residents notably hard, nearly doubling from year over year, from 12.6 to 21.6%. It's amazing. But California's in great shape. But, perhaps if California would direct their resources in the proper directions instead of woke ideology for classrooms, et cetera, this problem, it could be taken care of without taking from other states, as their Democrat politicians are so keen on always saying red states take from California. Sounds like California's taking from everybody else. And maybe they need to redirect their funds. But when you consider that there's $600 billion in debt and there's no evidence of any slowing in the spending or reallocations of funds by their elected Democrat officials, I doubt that's going to happen. And now, it is time for G's Happy Ending. We're working on getting some music for this. I've got a couple of candidates. We might air them in separate weeks and put them to a vote and let you guys pick. We may do that. We may not, but we might. You never know. Stay tuned. You'll find out. In LaPorte, Indiana, a pair of police officers are being recognized as life-saving heroes after they rescued a suicidal woman who was just a hand's breadth from perishing. Ryan Helmsey and Taylor Atkinson arrived at the I-35 overpass in northwest Indiana, where a woman was threatening to jump. The bridge, which was settled over a series of railroad tracks, was flanked by sidewalks and a chain-link fence. As Atkinson and Helmsey arrived, the woman was already making her way down the other side of the fence, at which point the two men began begging her not to jump. When it was clear she wasn't stopping, Helmsey sprinted over to the fence, mounted it, and grabbed the woman's hand, and she let go. With nothing but air separating her feet from a 30-foot drop onto the loose rock and steel tracks, Atkinson arrived a few seconds later and grabbed her other arm. They held on like this for several minutes until a fire truck had arrived under the overpass and was able to put a bucket up and lower the woman into it. They completely put their well-being aside to go over that fence and hang on like they did, LaPorte Police Chief Paul Breton said. She was begging them to let go, and they wouldn't. The chain-link fence was installed there to protect potentially against suicidal people, and since its placement years ago, there haven't been any calls. Atkinson said he was surprised when he heard one. The two men were honored by the police department with special commendations and the occasionally used moniker of Spider-Man for their comic book rescue. And that, gentlemen, is how you step up and do toxic masculinity shit. That's the show. If you like it, tell your friends. If your friends like it, you need new ones. But they and you are welcome with me every week on KLRN Radio, America's podcast network, home of the Conservative Curmudgeon Show. I'm your host, The Grouch. Peace.
I hate this place. Nothing works here. The medications don't work. I've been here for 7 years.
Here's to us, here's to love, all the times that we messed up. Here's to you, feel the grass, 'cause the last few nights have kicked my ass. If they give you hell, tell them go fuck themselves. Go fuck themselves. Here's to us, here's to us, here's to us. Here's to to us.